Hi everyone, welcome back. This is day 2 where I'm solving the Striver's A2Z sheet. Uh, and yesterday we completed the basic section, and in the build-up logical thinking section we completed first 6 questions. I'll mark them as complete. Although I did it yesterday, I'm not sure why it got removed. So we completed till here. Now we are moving to question number 7, where we need to print a pyramid star pyramid. Okay, so this is quite similar to question number 2. The difference is that along with the star pattern we also need to print some empty spaces before the stars. So basically the same thing, but we need to print some empty spaces here. Okay, so what we can do is, in the first line we have 1 star, then 3 star, then 5, then 3 4 5 6 7 8, then 7 8 9. Okay, so in each line we need to print uh, if the line number is, let's say, 1 2 3 4 5, then we need to print uh, twice the number of line minus 1, right? So this is 2 into 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1, so 1 star. 2 into 2 is 4, minus 1 is 3, so 3 star. 2 into 3 is 6, minus 1 is 5. So in each line we need to print 2n minus 1 star, where n is the number of line or I mean the line number. And also before printing the star we need to print the spaces. So in first line we need to print 4 spaces. In second line we need to print 3 spaces, then 2, then 1, then 0. Okay, so what we can do is we can start with our initial for loop, which will be the number of lines. Let's start with 1. It will be easier to denote the number of lines. Is less than equals to n I plus plus. So these are the lines. Okay, now we need to print the space in this line. So we, if I equals to 1, that means we are at the first line and we need to print 4 stars. So we'll do for int j equals to 0, j is less than n minus I, j plus plus. So n is 5. If n is 5, n minus I will be 4. So we will print from 0 to 4, which will be 0 to 4 will be 4 spaces. So this should be fine. We'll print the space and then we need to print the star. So for int j equals to 0, j is less than 2 into number of line minus 1 and j plus plus. It will be from 0 or 1. Let me check. So j is 0. In first line we need to print 2 stars. I is 1. So this will be 2 into 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. So 0 to 1. So this should be fine. And we need to print a star here with the space. And then after this we will simply print similar to what we had done before. We'll print the next line. This should be fine. We'll do a dry run once. So first of all, when let's say n is 5, or we'll take a simple example. N is 3. So first I will be 1, and in this loop j will be 0. J will be 0. So I is 1, 3 minus 1 is 2. So j will run from 0 to 2, and it will print, j will run from 0 to 2, and it will print 0 1, 2 spaces, correct? It will print 2 spaces in this. So we will have 2 space like this. Let's say we can denote spaces like this, so we'll have 2 spaces. Then we'll come to this loop. I will still remain 1, and j will run from 0 to 0 to 2 into 1 is 2 minus 1 is 1. So 0 to 1. So it will simply print just 1 star. Then in next line, then we'll do next line. Now I is 2, and j will run from 0 to I is 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So 0 to 1. So it will print only one space. And then we'll come to next loop. I will still remain as 2, and j will run from 0 to 2 minus 1 is 2 minus 2 is 4 minus 1, so 3. So from 0 to 3, which means 2 stars with a space. So that is how it will go, and next line it will print 3 stars similarly. So this should work. Let me try to run the code. Okay, 1 second. Looks like I have made some mistake. So in first line we'll have 3 stars, 1 star, then 3 star, then 5 stars, 3 5. A space is not required. Let me try without the space. Okay, fine. We don't need to add spaces. Fine. Then we need a downward pyramid. So for that, first we need to print the stars and then the spaces, right? No, wait. So first we'll start in reverse order. So the spaces, first of all, in first line we'll have 0 space. Then in second we'll have 1 space. Then in third we'll have 2 space. So similar to this, in first line we need 0 space. So it will be 0 to um, I, which is the line number. So 0 to uh, we can say 1 to I. So we'll print the space. So I is 1. So in first line it will not print any space. This should be fine. And the stars will be from 0 to n minus I. Sorry, to n 2 star n minus I. Correct. So n is 1. 2 into 1 is 2. 2 into n is if n is 5, so mm, no, that is not correct. So in first line we need we need 8 9 stars, that is 2 into 5 minus 1. So what we can do is 2 into 5, but in next line we need 2 into 4, which is n minus I minus 1. So basically what we are doing here is we need a number of stars will be 2 into uh, n, which is 5, minus the number of line minus 1. So if the line number is, let's say this line number is 1, right? This line number is 1, so we will have 4. No, we should take line number as 0. Let's do this. So let's start it from 0 to n, and we can do this j from 0 to I, and then here what we can now we can do is, so n is 5 minus 0, which will be 5. So 2 into 5 is 10, minus 1 is 9. So this will print 9 stars. Now in next iteration I will be 2, right? So 5 minus 2 is sorry, in next iteration I will be 1. So 5 minus 1 is 4, 4 to the 8, 8 minus 1 is 7. So it will print 7 stars. Similarly, next it will print 4 minus 1 um, sorry, 5 minus 2 3, 3 to just 6, minus 1 5. So next it will be print 5 stars, then 3 star, then 1 star. And let's see the spaces. So spaces, first it will print 0 space, then next iteration I will be 1, next iteration 1 space, then 2 space, then 3 space. I think this should be fine. Let's try to run this. Perfect. Okay, so this ninth one is also similar to the first one, it is a combination of 7 and 8. So first we can print this pattern and then this pattern. I mean, just write both the codes. Um, let's. Shall I do it or? Okay, let's go back to previous code. This was the previous code, is it? Hmm. So after this, we will do this also. Fine. So this will print the upward pyramid and this will print the downward pyramid. What happened? Perfect. Now this 10th one is same as these two, right? First we'll print the second and then we'll print the fifth. I'll just simply mark it as done. This is repetitive. Now coming to the 11th one. This is also similar to printing half pyramid, but instead of printing, like stars, we are printing ones and zeros. And we can add some logic to this, that where we need to print 1 and where we need to print 0. So at 0 0 location we are printing 1, at 1 0 we are printing 0, then 1 1 we are printing 1. 2 0 is 1, 2 1 is 0. That means if I plus j is even, then we are printing 1. But if I plus j, ij are indexes, if I plus j is odd, then we are printing 0. This is one logic we can use. There can be multiple, options and logics we can apply to this, but this is one of them. So let's try to code it out. We'll start with the first for loop, I equals to 0, I is less than n, and I plus plus. For int j equals to 0, how many in first one? We need only one element, so j is less than equals to I, right? In first one element, in second one 2 element, then 3 elements, so we can do this. And j plus plus, and then we'll add a if statement. If I plus j is even, uh, I plus j, one second, so to check even we can do I plus j modulo 2 is 0, then we'll print 1, else we'll print 0. And after this loop we also need a next line. Let's run this code. Perfect. Coming to the 12th one. Okay, so what we are doing here is, this is without spaces, 3 4 5 6. So we are printing 1. I here n is 4. Okay, so we are printing 1, then 8 spaces, that is 2 into n spaces, and then 1, which is the number of line. What we can do here is, first of all we'll have one loop which is for the line number I equals to 0 to n. Then we'll have a second, inside that we will have 3 loops. First we'll print this side of the table. First loop is going to print this side of table, second loop is going to print spaces, and third loop will print this side of the, not table, the, whatever is called. For printing this side of the loop, it is pretty similar to this, right? Instead of printing ones and zeros, we will print, this is 0 0, this is 0 1, sorry, 1 0, 1 1. So what we can do is this is 0 0, this is 1 0 and 1 1. So we are printing the j component plus 1. 0 0 is j component is 0, so 0 plus 1 is 1. Then 1 0, 1 1. So j component is 0 and 1. We are printing 1 and 2. So basically we are printing j plus 1. That is how we can print this part of it. So let's say we'll keep the outer loop. For printing the elements, we'll run from 0 to I, that is one time, and we will print j plus 1 plus a space. Space is required, is it? Space is not required, no? So we'll just print j plus 1. And then for int j equals to 0, j is less than, we need to print 8 spaces in first line, then 6 spaces, then 4 spaces. Sorry, 8 spaces, is it? 1 2 3 4 5 6. Sorry, 6 spaces, then 4 spaces, then 2 spaces. 6 spaces are so basically number of n is 4, right? So 4 into 2 is 8. So we have 8 elements. 4 into 2 is 8, and then we'll minus 2 elements which we have printed. So 2 into number of lines plus 1. Okay, got it. From j equals to 0 and j is less than 2 star n minus minus 2 star n is 8 minus 2, which is 2 into I plus 1, which is the number of line. So in first line we'll have 2 elements, that means in second line we'll have 4 elements, which is 2 um, I is 1, 1 plus 1 2, 2 into 2 4, minus 4 from 2 4 8, 8 minus 4 is 4, so we'll have 4 spaces. Fine, so this should be fine. And j plus plus. And we'll print our empty space. Now coming to this side of it, first we need to print 1, then 2, 1, which is, let's say if we are at this line, we need to print, first of all we need to print um, let's start this time j from n. Okay, n minus 1 or n, something like that. So for if j is n minus I, n minus I is 4. No, not like this. Let's start j from I plus 1. Okay, I think this should work. So if in first line we'll have j as 1, it will start j from 1. In second line we'll have I as 2, so it will start j from 2. And then j is less than n. N or j should be less than I. No, j should be less than, j should be greater than, 0, j minus minus. See how it will work is, so first of all j will be in first iteration, I is 1, I is 0, so j will be 1, and j will run only one time because j is greater than 0, and we are doing j minus minus, so it will run only one time and it will print 1. Next I is 2. Okay, I is 2, so j will be 2. J will run 2 times because j is 2 and j is greater than 0, so j will run for 2 and then j will run for 1. It will print 2 and then it will print 1. In next line j will be 3, so it will run from 3 to 1, then 4 to 1. And now let's do system println j. Okay, and next line we have already written. Now let's try it out. Perfect. I'm so proud of this. This looks so cool. This is also done. Now next is also similar to this, but instead of ones and zeros we are printing some kind of pattern. Okay, this is pretty simple. What we can do is keep a iterator or counter, and we'll just keep printing it and increasing the value of it. So what we can do is, for I equals to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, from j equals to 0, j is less than equals to I. And what we'll print here is, let's say we'll have a counter and we'll print count plus plus. This should be fine. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 21 15. They are printing for 5 lines. Last one is 15 for fifth line. Done. Now next is printing ABCD. Okay, for this one, what we can do is what we can do here is we know for each character there is a sky value, so we can use that to print these characters. I don't remember the value, let me google it. Value of capital A in Java. Capital A is 65. Or instead of doing this, what we can do is let's take a character value as A. Okay, and in each line we need to print for each so this will remain same, but instead of printing the numbers we need to print um, the character plus 1, right? So let's take one more character temporary as value, and we will print not temporary, we need to print temporary, and then we can do temporary plus plus. So I don't know plus plus will work in character and then it will increment it to B, it will add one. Let's try to compile and see. Not sure if it will work inherently or we'll have to add one and then convert it to character. Let's see. But I think this should be sufficient. So first of all, the value will be A. In temporary we'll get A, and then we'll print A in first line and it will come out of it. Then I equals to 1, it will run two times. So temporary, first of all it will be A, it will print A, and it will temp will become B. Then in second iteration it will print B. Let's see. Okay, it compiled. Perfect. That means it works. What if I don't add these spaces? Will it come after plus plus? Will it? I'm just curious if it will print it as inter character. Still in character, okay. Because the variable is character, is it? Fine. Now the next one is also similar. We just need to print it in downside. Let's skip this. Now in next one we need to print these like A, B, B, C, C, C. Okay, so what we can do is we'll just keep the value character and we'll print it, and after the loop we'll increment it. Perfect. from 17 onwards these look pretty, tricky ones. Let's do the 17th. So here what I will do is um, so similar to this one, this one will have uh, a outer loop which will be the number of lines, and first we'll have one inner loop which will print the spaces, these side of spaces, and then we'll have, I'm thinking if we can print all of this in one loop, or we'll have to divide it from center and we'll print this side of it and then this side of it. But that we cannot do, right? Because if we try to print this and then we'll print this, then it will print. I don't know how it will print. It should work, right? See, the spaces are similar to how we did it in the pyramid. That we can do. Then this is also similar to what we have done here. This also we can do. But coming to this is also similar to what we did earlier, no? In reverse pyramid. Let's try it out. We need the characters also, so we'll keep the val. Okay, now first of all we'll print the spaces. So in first line we need um here n is 4, and in first line we need three spaces. That means we are printing the spaces, so we need for int I equals to 0, I is less than n minus I or n minus I plus 1. Let's do it from 1 to n minus I. So it will be in first line n will be 4 minus 0 is 4, and it will run from 1 to 4, so 3 times 3 spaces. This is fine. I plus plus and spaces are done. Now we'll print the characters, specifically increasing characters. Okay, so what we can do is we'll in first line we'll print A. This is similar to the earlier one. So in first line we'll print I equals to 0 to, sorry, this should be J, not I. For J equals to 0 to J is less than equals to I, J plus plus. So what will happen is in first iteration J is 0, so it will, I is 0, so J will be 0, and it will 0 is less than equals to 0. It will run only one time and it will print only one character, which is A. In second iteration 2 characters and so on. Now we need to print, let's create a temporary variable. Okay, now we have printed the temporary variable. So in first iteration it will print A, in second it will print A, then B, and next is printing the decreasing characters. So for this I have an idea. We can check the value of temporary at the last iteration. So let's say in first line we don't need to print anything. In second line temp will be C, not B, C. So let's say temp is B. I'm just assuming in last iteration if temp is B, so we just need to do temp minus minus and print it. In last iteration temp is C, so we need to print temp minus 1 and then temp minus 1 and so on. Okay, and how many times will print? In first iteration will print 0 times, so it will be j minus I, j is less than I, and we'll do before starting only we can do temp minus minus. Okay, and then so here let's say if we are here in second line, so temp will be C, we are doing temp minus minus, so temp will be B, correct? Temp will be B, and then when we'll go to when we'll print, we need to print A, not B, so we need to print minus minus temp. Did I just update the existing code? Wait a second, I don't need to do it here. Hmm. And then the next line, let's try it out. So cool, I'm so proud of myself. This is also done. Now coming to 18th, what we are doing here is I think in this we just need to take care of the first character, rest is just incremental. So if we know that this first one is C, we can print DNE. If we know the first one is B, we can print the rest. We just need to calculate what will be the first character, and uh, first character will be n minus line number. So n, if n is 5, so first character is 5 minus 0 is 5. Second character is uh, n minus line number is 1, so 4. Second character is 4. What I mean by 4 is fourth character of alphabets, this fifth character of alphabets. So we can do a plus 5. To print this we can do a plus 5, a plus 4. So let's try it out. This time we'll start j from n minus I, So j will be n minus 0, which is 5, and j should be greater than equals to one second, j should be less than I, less than n. J is first of all 5 minus 0 is 5. 5 is less than equals to 5, and j plus plus. So now j, so it will print the first character. Now in next iteration j is 5 minus 1 is 4. J is 4, so it will run two times because j is less than equals to 5, so it will run two times and it will print two characters. And what we need to print is, let's take a character temporary variable. We need to print dot print temp plus temp plus j, sorry, val plus j also we can do. We don't need to create a temp, I think, because j is also increasing only. So let's say for the first iteration j will be 5, so we will have a plus 5, which is the e character. Okay, then in next iteration I will be 1 and j will run from j will be 5 minus 1 4, so we'll print d, and then j will be 5 and will print e, and so on. Let's try it out. What happened? Oh, it got converted to, okay. Let me run it one more time and give the same value. So n is 5 here, so it is, oh, that means it is printing plus 1. So what we can do is, a plus 5 is not e, c d e f. Okay, a plus 5 is f, not e, so we need to do minus 1 also. Now let's see. Now this is fine. This also looks like the same thing as above patterns we printed, like this 10th one. So we need to print it in chunks. We will print this, then we'll print this, then the downside will print this, then spaces, then this. This also looks pretty repetitive. All the questions we did earlier, like these and all, so these are just, we need to integrated all the pieces of these pieces. Let's try in question number 21. So what we're doing here is, what will happen if, let me check the code, what will happen if n is 5 or 6, how it will look. Is it correct? I mean, they are saying that here n is 5 and they are printing 4 stars and 4 lines, but if n is 3 they are printing 3 stars and 3 lines, and if n is 6 they are printing 6 stars and 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. I think this is some wrong. They should be printing 6 lines and here 5 lines. There's something wrong in the representation, but I think this is the correct representation of the question. If there are, if n is 3, so we need to print 3 lines, and in first line we'll have 3 stars, and last line will have 3 stars and then spaces. I think the easiest way to do this will be, first we'll print the first line, then rest of the lines, and then the last line. Okay. So first of all, we'll print n stars in the first line. Then we'll print these lines where we have 2 stars, 1 star at the beginning and 1 star at the end, and then we'll print the last line. That should be the easiest approach to do this. What we can do here is, first of all, we'll go from I int I equals to 0, say I is less than n, I plus plus, and we'll print a star. Okay, we have printed n stars. Then we'll go from int n minus 2, because we have already printed first and last line, so n minus 2 and I plus plus, and we'll do system.out.print a star, and then so this will print the first star. Then in this line we'll need to print n minus 2 spaces, correct? So we'll go from int j equals to 0, j is n minus 2, and then we'll print the spaces, and then again we'll print a star, and after that again we'll print a line of stars, and we also need a next line after this, uh, not after this, after, we need a next line after this. Then we are printing 1 star, and then after this we need a next line. Let's try it out. Something is wrong. Okay, after this also we need a next line. What is this thing at the end? Now this is fine, but what is this modular sign at the end? I'm not printing anything after this. I don't know. Hmm. Something is, I don't know. Let it be. Okay. And this is also done. Now coming to the last question. What is the value of n here? 8. N is 4. Okay. So if n is 4, we are printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. Okay. Hmm. N is 4, so in first line we are printing only 4s. In second line we are starting it from 4, then 3, then all 3s, then 4. What is the logic behind it? So this index is 0, 0. At line number 0 we are printing all n. At line number 1 we are starting from n, but at first index, if I and j, if j is equals to I, then we are printing n minus I. In third line One way of doing this would be if we create a 2 cross I mean n 2n cross 2n matrix and store these values. That way we'll have uh, the value of each index, and then we can calculate the internal indexes on the basis of these values if we store these values in a table. So how we can do this, we'll compute the first outer line, then this line will compute, then this line, and then the internal one. That will be the easiest way of doing this if we create a matrix, and then at the end we can print the matrix. Let's see the approach. Because we need to print square matrix. Border is n minus 2, so enter 1. We use two nested loops. Outer loop runs for 0 1 from 2 n minus 1, inner loop column j 0 to for each cell compute its distance from all four bound borders. Okay, they are not storing it somewhere, but they are calculating each by computing the distance. That is also interesting. So what we are doing here is, for each iteration we are calculating the distance of it from outermost, and we are taking the minimum value. Correct. Creating a matrix is also one of the ways, but that will have a time complexity of n square. Sorry, space complexity of n square, because we are storing all of these values. If we don't want to take space, then this is the best approach. So they have 2n minus 1 elements and 2n minus 1 rows at each line. Rows and 2n minus 1 elements at each row. So we'll have a matrix of 2n minus 1 cross 2n minus 1. At, at, at each index we'll find out uh, where is it with respect to the top and with respect to all borders. So let's say this element, okay, 3. So this is at a space of 2 from here, 1 from here, 2 3 4 5 from here, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 from here. So nearest is this. Okay, nearest is this. So value will be n minus nearest. The main calculation here is calculating these distances, finding out these distances. So let's try it out. We'll first of all have the lines. So int I equals to 0, I is less than 2 star n minus 1, and I plus plus. Now we'll calculate the will we are at the first element, so j also will run from int j equals to 0. j is less than j is less than 2 star n minus 1 j plus plus. Now int left, so from left side it is at a distance. Let's say we are at this one, so from left side it is at j distance. Left side it is at j distance. From right side it is at if we are at this 0 0, from right side it is at 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 distance. 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 distance, so it is 6 distances, 2n minus j. 2n minus j will be j is 0, so 2n is 8. 8 minus 0 is 8 minus 2, and in top is I. From top it is at I distance, and similarly int bottom is this. Now we want minimum of these, and then we need to print system.out.println n minus min. This should be the value, and after each iteration we'll have a system.out.println. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. This is also done. So we have completed this section. We'll mark it as done. Okay. Next is STL and basics of Java. This is what does C++ STL? C++. I'm doing it in Java, so let's skip this. We'll check the Java collections. So Java collection, when you start programming in Java, the first tool you probably use to store multiple values in an array. Arrays are easy to understand. They hold a fixed number of elements of same type and you can access them by index. But they have a big limitation. Their size is fixed once created. If you suddenly need to store more elements than array's capacity, you are stuck. You have to create a new array, copy all the old elements into it, and then add the new one. This process is not just tedious but also error prone and inefficient. Arrays also don't provide built-in methods for common operations like searching, sorting, and removing elements. This is exactly why Java Collections Framework JCF exists. The JCF is part of Java's Java util package and provides a set of ready-to-use classes and interfaces for storing and manipulating groups of objects. Collections are dynamic, meaning they can grow or shrink in size, and they come in with built-in methods for common operations. They also follow a consistent design, which means once you learn how to use one collection, you can quickly adapt to others. The concept of framework. The Java collection framework isn't just a random set of classes, it's an organized hierarchy. At the top sits the iterable interface, which allows objects to be looped through using the enhanced for each loop. Then comes the collections interface, which represents a group of elements and define basic operations like adding, removing, checking size, clearing elements. From collections, the hierarchy splits into three main branches. First is the list is ordered collection that can have duplicate elements. Then we have set, which is unordered collection that do not allow duplicates. And then we have a queue, which is collections designed to hold elements before processing. Alongside these, there are there are map interface, which isn't technically a subset of collections but still a part of framework. A map stores data in key value pair, ensuring that each key is unique. Now they have given some details on each of these. So list is in Java is a ordered collection where you can store duplicate elements and access them by index. It's perfect when the order of insertion matters or when you need to retrieve elements by position. Common implementation of list in Java are array list, internally based by a dynamic array offering fast random access but slow insertion and deletion in the middle. Then we have linked list based on doubly linked list, making insertion and deletion faster but random access slower. Then we have vector, similar to array list but synchronized, meaning it is thread safe. Okay, however, it's considered outdated for most uses. Then comes to sets. A set represents a collection that cannot contain duplicate elements. This makes it ideal for storing unique items like username, IDs, distinct values. The most common implementation are hash set, uses hashing for storage. Then we have linked hash set, similar to hash set but maintains the order in which elements are inserted. And then we have tree set, stores elements in stored order using a balanced binary search tree, but with slower insertion and lookup types compared to hash based sets. Maps. Unlike collection types, a map stores data as key value pairs. Each key maps to exactly one value, and key must be unique. This is useful when you need quick lookups based on a unique identifier. Common implementations are hash map, which is having fast lookup with no guaranteed order of keys. Linked hash map, which maintains the insertion order of the keys, and tree map keeps keys sorted in ascending order. Generics and type safety. One of the most common features of collection framework is generics. This allows us to specify the type of element a collection will hold, providing compile time safety and avoiding the need for manual typecasting. With generics, you prevent inserting the wrong type of data into the collection. For example, list of string names equals to new array list name dot add John. So we can add John, but we cannot add 42 because it is of string type. Collection utility classes. This framework also include a helper class called collections, which provides static methods for performing common tasks like sorting, reversing, shuffling, finding minimum and maximum element in the collection. This method saves time and make your code cleaner. So we have list of nums equals to this. Then we can do collections or sort to sort it, collections dot reverse to reverse it. How they work internally. Hash based collections like hash map and hash set use a hash table internally for fast insertion and lookup. Tree based collection like tree set and tree map use a red black tree to store elements in stored order. Array list uses a resizable array internally, doubling its capacity when needed. Linked list uses a node connected in a sequence, each holding data and links to previous and next node. I can mark this also as done. Then we have some maths problems. I think we are good for today. We'll continue tomorrow.